संस्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. To start the analysis on Kathamrita, the Gospel, one thing comes to our mind. What is called Gospel? Normally those who are acquainted with Bible, they know the term very well. God's spell. That is a divine announcement, so to say. We find in the Bible, Gospel, the new message or dispensation. Here, in this age, incarnation of this age, when Sri Ramakrishna spoke and Mahendranath Gupta recorded, and the writer himself named it Gospel. In Bengali, the term Kathamrita is very common. We know Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. And the Gospel is the term which brings promise of fulfillment to the people of the age. Here, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is the promise of fulfillment to the people of the present age. And before going to the talks, the Gospel itself, if we go through the life of the writer, the Mahendranath Gupta, the M, famous, he is famously known as M. He was a student of Calcutta University, bright student. In those days, the present Presidency University was a Presidency College. Before that, it was Hindu College. You know, it is a very famous institution in Calcutta. And he missed one examination in first arts exam. In today's parlance, it is a 12th standard exam. He missed one paper, maths paper. Even then he ranked 5th. In 1974, when he passed BA exam, Bachelor of Arts, he ranked 3rd in the university. So, we can understand the brilliance of the student, the young boy. Gradually, he became a school teacher, he became headmaster, he became lecturer in the Ripon College, at present Surendranath College in Calcutta near Shialdah railway station, but it was not in the present building, of course, in another building. Anyway, when this young man came to Sri Ramakrishna, he was a shattered person. The year he passed the university exam, graduate he became. That year he married Nikunja Devi, a relative of famous Keshav Chandra Sen. You know very well, Keshav Chandra Sen was a Brahmo leader and he was good orator, and his oratory skill earned so much fame. Even the Queen Victoria invited him And many people in those days of course the British, they thought soon whole India will become Christian. Because though he belongs to Brahma Samaj, but he praises Jesus Christ none less than the Christians. Now, his relative, Nikunja Devi, got married with Mahendranath Gupta. And what happened? Soon in the family there were problems. It happens everywhere, east or west. After all are human beings. And he decided to leave the house. Took his wife. In the night, he was traveling to some friend's house. In between, the horse carriage gave way, the wheel broke in the middle. And when he reached his friend's house, friend was at a loss. He was not ready to accept him and his wife in the dead night. Then he drove farther north of Calcutta and came to another relative's house. That was a divine play. He was brought near Dakshineshwar. And his nephew, Siddheshwar, he took him to Dakshineshwar. Let us go to the holy man. A priest is living there. Many people approach him. So you can have a visit. That was the advice of his relative, almost of his age. And what was there in the mind of Mahendranath? He was thinking about committing suicide. That was his condition, mental condition. We can understand when a man decides to commit suicide, what a turmoil goes inside. And at that moment, at that time, he reached Dakshineshwar and drawn towards Sri Ramakrishna. Again and again he went. Sri Ramakrishna quipped, a peacock is fed opium, so at regular hours he wants it. So he is coming again. Lo, that man has come again. What was the date? If we go through the Gospel, there are some differences of opinion when he came first. 23rd February 1882, Keshav Chandra Sen came to Dakshineshwar, took Sri Ramakrishna on the boat, steamer. He did it earlier also, afterwards also. After that date, the next Sunday he came, once he told. And it would be 26th February 1882. If everything goes correct. Because the date is not written clearly in the Gospel. From that date onwards, we find 1886 April, 26th April, he came again and again. He came afterwards also because 1886 August 16 we know, Sri Ramakrishna's Mahasamadhi passing away. But mainly, he had the opportunity to come on Sundays or the holidays because he was a headmaster and he was very busy and he kept himself busy. First, to serve his own family. Gradually, when he became close to Sri Ramakrishna, then afterwards his disciples, then he became always close to the monastery. And when Narendranath became Swami Vivekananda and others took sannyas, they had nothing to eat. Sometimes we know the story if we go through the history of Ramakrishna Mission. the days of inception. Holy Mother, we know, she was living in Kamalpukur. Cloth was torn, tying the knots, and nothing to eat. Some lentils she grew in the courtyard. When he came to know he worked harder. He became headmaster of 3 schools at a time, kept on palanquin, so that he could be carried from one school to another. So one salary from one school kept for his own family, one for Holy Mother, one for the mott. So much hard work he worked. If we go through the letters of Swami Vivekananda, there he mentioned explicitly a few names. One of them is M, who supported us in those days. There were many devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, but there were some difference of opinion also after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna. One group thought, we got the opportunity to serve Sri Ramakrishna. He is the incarnation, he is the Bhagavan, Ishvara, the Lord himself, and our lives are fulfilled. We are blessed. Let us come, let us go and approach all the people, let them declare, let us tell about his life and glory. He is Bhagavan, Sri Ramakrishna, Avatara Purusha, incarnation of the present age. Other group, they were young, they took sannyasa afterwards, after Viraja home and etc. And many of them got ochre cloth from Sri Ramakrishna himself in the days of Kashipur, in the last days. Their leader was Narendranath Vivekananda. He told, who will listen to us if our lives are not there? We have to prepare ourselves. We have to lead a good life of renunciation. They took the vows. And naturally the young boys, they had nothing to do. When they went to beg, sometimes it happened, some ladies told, why not you earn money? Why not become a bus conductor, tram conductor? Why are you begging? Anyway, but there were others who supported. I am talking all these things because when we read gospel, then the question will come, for whom all these are recorded? For the householders or the sannyasins? Let us come to the other points. We find there are references of 186 days in the gospel. He kept several diaries he had. He started writing diaries long back, and again we can tell it was a divine play. He was destined to write it. Many people were there who tried to note down Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, and even when Sri Ramakrishna was alive, a few were published, like Ramchandra Datta, Suresh Babu, in Keshav Sen's Brahma articles, magazines. There were the writings, the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna available. Among the group of people who came to Sri Ramakrishna, a few tried. Brahmananda Maharaj himself tried, and a few were published afterwards in Udbodhan in the beginning years. Mahapurush Maharaj Swami Shivananda started, and Sri Ramakrishna said, these are not for them. So though they started, but it was nipped in the bud. Though Sri Ramakrishna said it is not for you, but when gospel writer M used to come, like headmaster asked the children, what have I told? Tell me. He asked another headmaster, M, what have I told? Do you remember? Tell me. He told. Sometimes he faltered. Sometimes he had some wrong understanding, and Sri Ramakrishna corrected it. Everything is recorded in the gospel. If we go through it, we find it. M wrote all these things explicitly. He asked, I gave this answer. He told, no, I have not told this, I have told that thing. It is not the same. Correct it. So, we find M was destined to write. And the next question will come, how far it is authentic? In any way, we cannot accept if anyone tells anything. We will check it, whether it is authentic or not. Who will authenticate? First, those people who were present. And when Holy Mother says, yes, he is speaking on your mouth, then who else we need to authenticate more? Another, the other direct disciples of the Master, direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Many were there who said in many a times, Vigyan Maharaj, Mahaprabhu Maharaj, others, many of them used to send some young people or devotees, go to him, listen to him. Even Sri Ramakrishna sent his young devotees to the Master. Him in those days was known as Master Mahashaya, Master English teacher, Master Mahashaya, Mahendra Master. In several ways, Sri Ramakrishna used to address him. And some wept. Why should I go to him? He is a household. He is not the saint. He has the inclination to become a sannyasi, to take the path of renunciation. But Sri Ramakrishna rather forced him, go, and I don't like this one-sidedness. And he went. Sri Ramakrishna himself told, he will speak nothing else, he will speak on me only. So, they were the chosen persons, companions of the incarnation of the present age. And Sri Ramakrishna saw him as Sri Ramakrishna saw others also. Divine Mother showed him many things. Balaram Babu, when came to Sri Ramakrishna, he knew, oh, I know the face. You were in the team of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Same was the case of M also. Sri Ramakrishna saw him in the companions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, some are there blessed souls who come again and again with God when they incarnate. If we go to the Bhagavatam, we find the same thing. Beautiful descriptions are there in the very beginning. We know Bhagavatam is it is not Bhagavad Gita. I am referring to Bhagavatam. Very big, large Purana, Mahapurana. And a part is, of course, from the 10th, 11th chapter, Skandha, the life of Sri Krishna begins. And when the life of Sri Krishna starts, we find in the Svarga, it is said, it is announced. Suppose when we announce, this is going to happen. Similarly, it was announced he is going to take birth. So all the deities, others, gods, they wanted to take birth in the earth as human beings, some as friends, some as foes, some as his trees, plants, who will see him, who will be the part of the divine play, Leela. And they came. Similarly, in this incarnation also, they came, and one of them was M. Now, when M was writing the diaries, first he told it is for me only. He didn't want to disclose it. Even Girish Ghosh once wanted. He didn't want to show him. It is personal. I don't think I want to show it to others. But later when Holy Mother heard, when he narrated the days, the events, then Holy Mother approved. In 1889, Vivekananda said, praised. Vivekananda praised again in 1897 also. And gradually we find they came to the light. In black and white, as the writing of the M, it was published as Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in English, not in Bengali. First it was published in English. And then gradually it was published in many small or big Bengali journals, periodicals, Tattamanjari, even in our Udbodhan, even in other papers. 19 journals in those days published Sri Ramakrishna's teachings in several issues. All were written by M. And when he started publishing the books, first volume was published from Udbodhan in 1902, then 1904, then 1908, then 1910, and the fifth one was published in 1932 after a long gap. But many things were there in his diaries. But when other people read it, they found it is very difficult to write from his diaries, because he was writing in a very brief manner. Sometimes the person who takes the notes in shorthand, he only can read out what note he is taking on. For the other people, it is very difficult. Same thing happened to M also. He noted, he meditated, and all the incidents, he could find it later as if it was happening again in front of him, and he was noting down elaborately, and those things were published as Kathamrita, the Gospel. And when he published the 5 books in 5 parts, he never started writing chronologically. The events of the same date we find in several volumes. Not the same incident. The same day, some incident is taken in some volume. On the same day, some other thing happened. It is in another volume. It happened. First, Swami Nikhilanandaji tried to write it in chronologically. when he translated in English. M didn't approve the translation of others. Many tried. But translation, we know very well, translation from any language loses its own flavor. And M was very particular when he was alive. Nikhilananda first started writing, he published it chronologically, and when the copyright was over, then many publications in Calcutta published the book. Udbodhan also did. And Udbodhan, our publication of Ramakrishna order, they published this book in single volume as well as in 2 volumes, because it will be handy. It is a fat book in 1 volume. They published the events chronologically and adding some things more, like the lives, the short sketch of the people who came in contact, the meanings which are not available in the dictionary sometimes, and some other descriptions, and of course something else also, some other notes on Vivekananda or others, what M wrote, it was also included in this book. In any way, we find almost 4.5 years span, M came to Sri Ramakrishna and took notes and later meditated, and some days he wrote in details the lyrics of the songs, the conversation with the people among themselves or with the master, that is with Sri Ramakrishna. And if we try to find out the characters of the gospel, a great variety of characters are available. The people were of different age, male and female both. There were teachers, there were students, there were households with children or those who had no issues, widows, scholars, people of different faiths and religion. There were people who wanted to commit suicide. There were people who was rejected by his partner. There were rich, there were businessmen, there were adolescent young fellows. There were some people who were very much troubled in their family life. There were spiritual aspirants, and there were some funny people also, like Hajra. Hajra, Pratap Chandra Hajra, you know very well. He actually was a man of a village close to Sri Ramakrishna's ancestral home, Kamarpur. He used to live there, and because Sri Ramakrishna allowed, she had the opportunity to live there, but sometimes he posed he is greater than Sri Ramakrishna. Sometimes, though he was present, Sri Ramakrishna was present, he, when being asked, he told, "Oh, he is not there, he has gone somewhere else." Though in the next room Sri Ramakrishna was sitting there. But even then he had friendship with the disciples of the master also. If we go through the gospel, we find it is full of songs, Many songs are there. And he noted the lyrics, the songs of different faiths. Songs on Shakti of the Shakta sadhakas, the spiritual aspirants, with Shakti worshippers like Ramakrishna, like Amalakanta. There are on Radha, Krishna, the Vaishnava faith, their philosophy, on Kali, Shiva, even the songs sung in the Brahma Samaj, formless Brahman also, Nirakara Brahma. Everything is present, verily present. And Sri Ramakrishna rejoiced. In different moods, he sang, he liked to hear, and many were repeated. We had a glimpse of it, how many songs, what type of songs he wanted to listen. And what happened, he was in the Morton school, when he started his own school, he made compulsory reading of this gospel to his students. And naturally, there was murmur to sell his books. He has taken this step. And it was brought to his notice what the people are saying. He told, they do not understand it. They will understand it in their afterlife. Now they are the school boys. Let them read. And then afterwards, when they will enter the life, then when they will have to support their life, when they will earn, when they will face the problem of life, then they will understand how much solace they will get from these books. I can give one example. I am digressing. One incident, it happened in this country. One of our students of Purulia Ramakrishna Mission, he didn't like other students, all those classes on Gospel or Gita or anything, but he had to memorize some things because he had to pass the exams, because Maharaj will not leave them. And somehow he passed the board exam with flying colors, and he was relieved that all these things are gone. In the next higher education, we need not memorize Gita slokas and everything. He became a scientist, came here, working. One day he was driving car and he was stopped by some robber or hooligan. Then he was at a loss what to do. And then from inside, one sloka came up. Uddharedatmanatmanam. You yourself have to rescue yourself. Nobody will help. None else will help you. One sloka is there. It was very popular sloka of Ranganatha Mandimath. He used to recite it on and often. Somehow he got the strength, and with full speed he passed and came out of the danger. Then he thought, I never memorized, I do not remember many, but how it came up and it saved my life. Is there a Ramakrishna mission in the USA nearby? Then he started visiting the school again, visiting Vedanta societies. Just one example I am giving. It happens in our life. Sometimes when we get blows from all the corners and we do not know where to go, how to lead our life. Sometimes we feel our lives are in vain. Then we take refuge to the Lord and try to find out the meaning of the life. M understood it happens to all of us, in every people, in everyone, at a certain stage, maybe sooner or later, in a young age or middle age or old age. And he knows the conversation, what is recorded, will give them peace. And Vijnananda Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna's another disciple, once commented, 99% sadhus of our order joined after going through the gospel. And the young people who come to join as a monastic member of the order, they are drawn, of course, by the words of Swamiji, his spirit, his lectures, his ideas, and of course with Sri Ramakrishna, his conversation as is recorded in the gospel. It is very much common. And we know M finished 5 volumes before his passing away. In fact, the morning he breathed last, a few hours before, in the dead night, with all neurologic pain and everything, he finished the proofreading of the 5th volume. He finished within a few hours, he breathed last. It was 1932. That's why clearly we can tell it is the divine play. He was destined to write it, this gospel, for us. Sri Ramakrishna once told, who will listen to you? Have you got the command? He told this to Shashadhar Tarka Churamani, one character we find in the gospel. Shashadhar Tarka Churamani was the man of that group who preached everything right. Whatever the rituals we follow, even the superstitions, they have some scientific explanations. Actually, it happens in the society. The thesis, counter-thesis and synthesis, that becomes again thesis. We know that dialect, how the Hegel interpreted. In any way, when M wrote all these about Sri Ramakrishna, in those days, all the bright students of the universities, when approached, they were not ready to accept anything. So they argued, they threw questions, they got answers, they were convinced. And Sri Ramakrishna was never tired of facing the questions. He never told them, don't ask questions. Rather, he did the opposite. He told, ask, think about it, realize it, feel it, dine dekhbi, rate dekhbi, tabe to you check in the day, in the night, then you accept. It is not that only Swami Vivekananda tested him. If we go through Lila Prasanga, the life wrote by Sharadanandaji Maharaj, there he clearly wrote, we all tested him in many ways. In the Shashwata Tarka Churamani, he was the product of the counter force. Some people were there by the influence of Western thought. They found everything is void in the fold of Hinduism. And they tried to become Western in thoughts, in dress, in culture, in every way. Naturally, the counter force arises from the society. They thought, no, just the opposite. Everything is good. Why the tuft is there on the back of the head? It works like aerial. Some electricity flows down. So that was the days, the funny things. Supported by one of them was Shashada Tarka Chudamani. He was a good orator. And Sri Ramakrishna used to go anywhere, he was ready to go to see if anyone excels in his life. Be a singer, be a scholar, be a sadhaka, in any faith, in any way. If one is famous in his own field, he wanted to see. Some power is manifesting through him, and any power is divine power. It is manifesting through him or her. And then Shashada Tarka was famous. He came and saw and asked, have you got the command? Without the command, it won't work anymore. And it happened. Afterwards, Shashada Tarka was rejected by the society. But anyway, he was blessed by the master. He lived in Murshidabad, you know the places very well, who know. And very devoted life. With great devotion, he passed his next days. But this M, he had that command, we find. Because of the divine command, he wrote. Already we had gone through all these chapters, how he was asked, how he was tested, whether he is correct or not, and how he was authenticated by Holy Mother and disciples of the Master. And we know, with that command, he could write this, which has become immortal in the field of hagiography. Hagiography, there are several meanings. Some say the lives of saints, hagiography. Some say hagiography is a description of a man in very pampered way. It is a too much praised biography. Romarola said, it is the hagiography. Better to tell Lila Prasanga, a hagiography. But Kathamrita is dialogue. Swami took it in the right tune. Swamiji remarked, when we go through the Socrates, then we find Plato everywhere. Without Plato, we can't think about Socrates. But here, M always tried to hide himself. When we read Gospel, we find M wrote about himself in various names. Sometimes Master, sometimes Mahendra, sometimes Mahendra Master. One Mahendra Kaviraj was there, a doctor. It is also there in the Gospel. Mahendra Kaviraj, a physician, Ayurvedacharya. Sometimes he wrote Mani. So in several names he wanted to hide himself, and Swami took it in the right spirit. Socrates is full of Plato if we want to read. But if we want to read Sri Ramakrishna, where is the master? He wants to hide himself. The teachings of Sri Ramakrishna comes first. His instruction comes first. And moreover, M never tried to explain Sri Ramakrishna. That is very beauty. Explanation is yours. Expression is readers. They are given that conversation. You read, you go through, you judge yourself. M never wanted to have any judgment or give any explanation who Sri Ramakrishna was. The thing he wrote at best is, to me, is it not the thing? And the judgment again is thrown to the reader. I am thinking like this. Would you support it? Will you think like this? He raised the questions. He never gave any sermon, any explanation that you have to follow my explanation. He never went in this line. And in front of the book, one sloka is there, one verse is there, taken from Bhagavatam. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatam bhuvi grinanti je bhurida janaha. Kathamrita, the word is taken from that verse. Kathamrita, the nectar of words. Words of the divine incarnation is the nectar. Kathamrita. And these words removes the dirt. Kalmashapaham. Kalmasha, papa, the sin. Apaham. It removes. When we read, then our mind is lifted automatically. I have come here from San Diego. After the evening discourse, one boy I was talking with, what is his name? He gave one Hindu name. Afterwards I heard he is a Muslim boy, young person. Then I inquired, how do you like the ideas of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda and these? He is from Bangladesh. Then he told, I first read in English the Gospel. That drew me to the Vedanta Society. Afterwards, he started reading other books in Bengali and English both as well. Now the Gospel draws people in the higher level of thinking. We are in our daily lives, we are engaged in many works, in our fields, in our own life, we are busy, but we are not satisfied with it. Something more we search for, some high ideals. It is literally true that man does not live on bread alone. The economist will say they want some recognitions. That's why they do work, they do their job, they give their whole effort, and they earn and they live. But even go beyond that, the whole world is not running after money only. It is required, of course. But something more is there. Not only recognition, but something more. That happiness, that peace in mind. The recognition does not bring peace always. But how to get peace? When we think about it, we find so long we will think about ourselves, we will have no peace. Think about others and you will find peace in you. Renunciation is the main word in our life. Normally, when the people learns the word renunciation, they are afraid. Should I leave all these things? Should I leave my home? Should I become a pauper? Swami Vivekananda wrote in his lecture, in his Jnana Yoga lecture, once he gave one lecture based on Ishopanishad. He told, I do not want that the gentleman will throw his wives and children on the road, not the reverse. The wives will throw all others away. It is, everything should be divine. The life should be spiritual. If all the members of the family look upon others as divine beings, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, Yat Kincha Jagat Tayam Jagat, All these words are explained in many ways. Swamiji explained it. And when that word is renunciation, we find in the gospel very beautiful explanation, vairagya. Normally it is a very negative word. Vairagya means leave everything, vairagya. Virakta, not in Bengali word. Virakta in Bengali means he doesn't want at all. Virakta, it comes in Sanskrit, ranj dhatu. Ranj dhatu means it is being colored. Our mind is colored. In that way, whatever way we like, as Sri Ramakrishna himself told that example of the washerman, cloth is dipped and, oh, you want red color? Dip it, get red color. You want yellow color? Dip it, get yellow color. That is the ranj dhatu, colored. The man of Bengal, they know, you know, earlier days there were ranjak soap, ranjak shawan. The colored soaps were there to color the cloths. In 1970s or 60s, it was very much common in Bengal. There was no other dyes in those days. Anyway, ranj dhatu is like this. And when our life, it is colored, one like poetry, another like science, some like something else, and we want something we enjoy. When we do not want, that is called vairagya. We don't want to get it colored. So it is negative. That feeling is negative. The connotation is negative. But Sri Ramakrishna gave another definition in this gospel. What he said? Vishaye virag, and he added Ishare anurag. So we will not crave for all these things, but we should try to realize God, that love towards God. So it's not a vacuum, but we want to be Godward. Our existence of life will be towards God. Sri Ramakrishna said again and again in the gospel, the only aim of human being is realization. Bhagavan love, Ishwar love, realize God. In which way? Some may say, I like Krishna, some Shiva, some Kali, some Vishnu, Narayana, some with form, some without form. And that was the question in those days also, especially from them who were having the Western ideas or the antithesis in those days, Brahma Samaj, who found something from Hindu fold which will counter the Ekeshwaravad, one God. As people say, there were many gods, 33 koti devata, 33 crores of deities are there, gods are there in Hinduism. Whom to follow? We forget that in our own scriptures, Vedas, sacred most ancient religious book in the world says only one God is there. Ekam Sat, Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti. Only one God. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also it is said the same thing. How many? Many are there. 3,303, only one is there. But others are different aspects. Sri Ramakrishna realized it. So he could give the solution to the people of different faith in his unique way. What are the ways? If we go through the gospel, we'll find it is full of stories, anecdotes and similes. Earlier, in the Sanskrit literature, they used to say, Upama Kalidasasya. If you want to get simile, go to Kalidasa. enough you will get. Nowadays they say, Upama Sri Ramakrishnasya. You want to get? Read Gospel. So many are there. We know that incident. Sri Ram said, there are different ghats, the stairs of the same pond. Some say it is pani, some say water, some say aqua, some say jal. But actually the substance, the same thing is there. They are getting the same thing from everywhere. Or Swamiji narrated, Rijunam Vaichitra, Rijukutila Nana Patusham in Chicago here in USA. All the rivers go to the same ocean, reaches, take different paths. Some go straight, some have winding ways, but reaches the same ocean. These were the days. Now also, the same questions are asked. Sri Ramakrishna faced the same question, whether God is formless or with form. Sri Ramakrishna answered very beautifully. He is with form, He is without form, He is beyond everything. Beyond everything we cannot comprehend. We try to comprehend through our mind, and our mind is also limited. Our intellect goes to some extent. We cannot comprehend infinite in our finite mind, and it is vain. But we should know that from the experience, He Himself said, He Himself realized, so He thought, so He declared. Many things are there in the Gospel, like the combination of 4 yogas, karma, bhakti, jnana, yoga, and etc. What not? The solutions of philosophers, the questions of the devotees are answered in unique way in the Gospel. I am going to in details. Let us take one example. Sri Ramakrishna found one boy, he used to come, he is absent. Earlier he used to come frequently, his friend is coming but not that boy. That boy is none but Hari Maharaj, later Turiyananda. And he asked his friend, why your friend is not coming? That boy answered, he is busy in reading Vedanta Shastra. So he abstained from coming here. Then one day he came and Sri Ramakrishna asked him, oh, you read Vedanta. What Shastra you read? What scriptures you are reading? What Vedanta Shastra says? Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Isn't it? Is there anything else? It struck his mind. Really, that is the key word. All the Vedanta Shastras, how many are there? Numerous. Vedanta Shastra is so much, so many, so huge Shastras, scriptures. Even Shankaracharya wrote Vidya, a Maha-aranya, the great forest. And people lose the track. Chitta Brahmana Karanam. They move around and do not get the path. So huge, a big forest it is. But Sri Ramakrishna gave the light, the true direction. This is Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. One Swami was there, Holy Mother's disciple Jagadananda. He was a great Vedantist. And some junior monks once requested him, Maharaj, we want to read Vedanta from you. Probably he was in Vrindavan at that time, Jagadananda Swami. Then he was ready to teach, but others praised him, Maharaj, please teach us. All right. He gave, come on such and such day and such time. Then they gathered. Then he said, quiet. And he told, you see, you wanted to go through Vedanta Shastra. All right. I am going to teach you. Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. My teaching is over. You go. And you read all the Shastras. That is the only teaching Sri Ramakrishna told. And then Harinath understood really all the scriptures, Vedanta Shastras, that is the gist of it. In his unique way, Sri Ramakrishna showed many things. Often we find in this Kali Yuga it is very difficult, people are annagata prana. We cannot think about our body, our existence without food, even for a while. In the morning having breakfast, after 3 hours, then something I need, then again after 2 hours, I need something, annagata prana. And it was told, Sri Ram told, then where is the time to do all these tapas, all these austerities? Naradiya bhakti. Small words. If we go through Swamiji's writings or lectures and Sri Ramakrishna's writings, very briefly they narrated the key words of the scriptures. But if we go through it, then we understand what a great light is there. Bhakti is devotion. Bhakti is devotion. We know singing, chanting, puja, everything, we are devoted. We are the devotees. But Sri Ramakrishna added another word, Naradiya Bhakti. In Bhakti Shastra there is Naradiya Bhakti Sutra. There are some aphorisms. If we go through it, then we find how difficult it is. It is not only simple puja, dualistic approach. And Naradiya Bhakti, it reaches the infinite, it makes everything united in a single point, it merges everything as like jnana. So, jnana, bhakti, karma, whatever it be, it reaches the same goal. If we go through the gospel, we will find these are the things what Sri Ramakrishna preached. Jato mat, tato path. All are the paths, different paths, the means. He never gave the full importance to the means. Means are means only. Puja and everything means only. But these are not goals. I will close with only one incident. His disciple Shashi Maharaj, Ramakirishna ji, once he went to Rangoon and he met Sharat Babu, he is a playwright, and very well, Sharat Chandra. And Sharat Chandra was afterwards very much angry to Ramakrishna mission for two reasons. One, he wanted to donate his books in the Mott library, but sadhus declined. All these novels we do not know, it is Ramakrishna, Belur Mott library. So he was very angry. Another was his brother was Vedananda Swami. He was one of the pioneers of the Vrindavan ashram, and he suffered in TB. In those days there was no medicine, there was no money to serve, give him good food, and he had to pass away. There were many sadhus passed in those days. Ketagi Maharaj worked hard in Cherrapunji, he passed away. Many sadhus. Maharaj was there in Cherrapunji. Maharaj knows how the center was in those days. In any way, that Sharat Chandra asked Ramakrishna ji, why are you collecting the flowers in the morning hours? You are walking several miles just to pluck flowers, go to your ashram back and do some puja. We know these are the rituals. We have to pluck flowers, we have to prepare sandal paste, we have to do puja, all these things. We think this is our religion. Shashi Maharaj replied, Puja archana sakoliko phaki, ei sujoge tomar ei daki. Everything is in vain, I know very well, puja and everything. But this is the opportunity to call you. This is the opportunity so that I can fix our mind in that high spiritual ideas. So, that is the thing. Fix our mind in that particular infinite divinity, whatever you tell. If you want to think about a form, concentrate upon it. You think, meditate upon formless one, that is also good. But the point is that divine existence, what Sri Ramakrishna again and again told in this gospel, Satchidananda, existence, absolute bliss, consciousness, that takes different forms, and that is the goal of human life. That is the true religion. What Swamiji said in a one-liner, religion is realization. And in that gospel of the present age, when we start thinking, what is the use of so many faiths, so many religions, so many rituals, what is the use of it? We may think, I am not a religious one. I don't want religion, but I want to be spiritual. That is the spirit, the divine thing, that divinity already in man. Everyone is potentially divine. That is the Vedantic truth, Vedantic concept. Only one thing more. There was one question I raised in the very beginning, whether this gospel is for devotees, the householders, or the sannyasins. Many have that different explanations. Many people will say many things. The same thing was raised in one meeting in Kashipur Udyanvati in one occasion. And strongly one opined it is for the monks, because always it tells about Vairagya, it tells about leaving everything, Nirasakta, everything. Another told it is for households, because it is told about households. How many are there? Even some became monk afterwards, but mainly all these characters are household characters. At last Gambhirananda Maharaj stood up. Then he told, it is neither for sannyasins, it is neither for grihasthas. It is for them who want to realize God. So, let us pray to Thakur, Ma and Swamiji. Let us lead to the same path. Let us get our ideal, our fulfilled, and be blessed. Let us pray for us, let us pray for all, let us pray for the whole mankind. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.